Hey guys, we soon gonna talk about women who were forced to vacate a championship while they was going to take time off due to injury. Tune in more at the Pink Square Circle. Hey guys, we back at the Pink Square Circle. We will talk about women who have vacated championship while injured, women who were injured as champion. You guys tune in. We gonna talk about 4 different scenarios of women who were either a tag team champion or women's world champion, and they had to vacate title due to injury or other reason. But we're gonna talk about the most recent 4 I want to come into mind. Now, these women, they were either on the brand of Raw, SmackDown, or TNA, or whatever brand they on. But the first one we're going to talk about in chronological order, we're going to talk about Mommy, Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley had to vacate the Women's World Championship while she was the Women's World Champion in her historic 380-day title reign. Now, she had that run by winning the championship over Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39 back in 2023, back when it was the SmackDown Women's Championship. She was even the first woman to hold the most current design and to hold the new name of the title, the Women's World Championship. Now, she had a very dominant run. This is when her run was a part of the Judgment Day. She was a heel back then. Mommy was on top, but a shoulder injury storyline taken out by Liv Morgan forced her to vacate the championship. And you could tell that it really got to Rhea. Now, Rhea did come back several months later, but she had to vacate that championship. It was not a good moment for her at all. And it's safe to say that she's tied with Bayley for the longest single title run in history of that championship. Her and Bayley are both tied at 380 days. And Rhea Ripley when she did come back, she was more of a babyface. But when Rhea Ripley did vacate the championship, it would go to Becky Lynch in a battle royal and later on to Liv Morgan. She would go on to regain it back in 2025, defeating Liv Morgan on the Netflix premiere of Monday Night Raw, the brand new Monday Night Raw on Netflix. But what a great run she had. It sucked that she had to do that. But Rhea Ripley, that was the most recent she was actually the most recent person to vacate title and hold it for so long. But she is one example of that. We'll go over another example of a woman that hold a championship and had to vacate it. Next one we're going to talk about is Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill, now she hold one half of the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship alongside Bianca Belair. Now this championship here, this was her first actual championship in WWE history, in her career, I mean. Now, her and Bianca, this was a second run at the Women's Tag Team Championship. They held it one time previously. This is when they won a championship back in, I want to say, Bash in Berlin of 2024. And they did their thing. They were a very dominant tag team. They shut it down like no other. Now, they had the championship for 177 days until Jade was storyline taken out by Naomi. And Naomi will go on to replace Jade Cargill. Now, titles weren't vacated, but not as a whole, but she did have to give up her half of the championship because of injury. Bianca Belair would keep hers, but Naomi took her spot. It turned out later on, as many of us know, that Naomi would be the one that took Jade Cargill out. But it was August 31st that they won the belt, and I believe December 20th is when Naomi took on that championship. We'll go to another example. Another example is the Tag Team Championship again for the women's division. This time, Liv Morgan more and more recently. Now, this is Liv Morgan. She fresh off just having her WWE Women's World Championship run, losing to Rhea Ripley, as I explained earlier at the beginning of 2025 in January. Her and Raquel Rodriguez, they had the championship back to back. They literally had the championship within twice in 2025. This is when they held championship for 69 days. They won it on the episode Monday Night Raw, and they defeated Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, who will go on to hold the belt less than 24 hours. Now, this is when Liv Morgan was injured during a match with Kairi Sane, where she injured her shoulder, previously injured her other shoulder. Raquel Rodriguez, similar to Bianca Belair, will now have to give up her half of the championship. Roxanne Perez will replace Liv Morgan, just like Naomi will replace Jade Cargill. But it sucked because this is we was wondering how this was going to run. This was their record-setting title. It was Raquel and Liv who held the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships as a team more than anybody. Raquel individually more than anybody, but as a team, definitely good. And this happened on, they won the belts in June 30th, 2025. April 21st. And Roxanne were going to replace her June of 2025. So this was crazy moment for Liv Morgan, who had previously injured her other shoulder, and I believe she was the Women's Tag Team Champion at that time too. So this is why they say the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship doesn't have the best luck. Now, most recently, we will talk about Ash by Elegance, who was on TNA, the TNA Knockout Women's Champion. She had won this championship most recently at NXT called Heatwave, and she won it in a triple threat with Masha Slamovich and JC Jane, the previous champion. Now, most recently, Ash by Elegance, she will vacate the championship for undisclosed reasons, says she had to step away from in-ring competition. A lot of people are speculating what's the reason for it, why she had to do it. Nonetheless, she will have to go vacate the championship. She only held on to this championship for 33 days. So a little over a month, she will go on to hold this championship. And this was the first world championship of Ash by Elegance for a major promotion. This was sad because this is when the whole Elegance brand held the TNA Knockouts Championship, and she held the Women's Knockout Championship. So this sucked for her, but she will go on to vacate the championship. It was vacated September 26, 2025 at Victory Road, TNA Plus event. It would be later. It would be coming down to a battle royal that came down to Liang Lee and Kalani Jordan. And Kalani Jordan going to win the championship, who is the current, at this time of the video, the TNA Knockouts Women World Champion. But this sucked for Ash by Elegance. There's still rumors of what happened. She never specified she had an injury. She never specified she had to take surgery or anything. But we do know she had to vacate the championship. For whatever reason, she could not compete nonetheless. It's still skeptical of what the reason is. Who knows? It's a lot of reasons that could be thrown out there. But the thing about it is, in the most recent, this past year, we have seen lots of women vacate a championship, while they were champion. Now, I know some people in the video are going to say, what about Naomi? She vacated championship. Well, that's a different situation. Naomi, she did vacate the Women's World Championship, most recently, actually, but that's due to maternity leave, her real-life pregnancy with her real-life husband, Jimmy Uso. That is different. That's not because of an injury. It's not because she's forced to step away because of medical procedure. That's a maternity leave. So I don't think any woman's going to be wrestling pregnant, while champion. And also, that's not a bad thing that she had to vacate it. She's having her first child. That's a great thing. This video highlights on when women had to vacate championship of a bad reason, not because of a good reason like Naomi. They were injured, hurt, forced to step away from in-ring competition like Ash by Elegance. We see the promos of Rhea Ripley, the promo of Ash by Elegance, where they're about to break down in tears of sadness. So Naomi's a little bit different. But other than that, though, other than the Naomi situation, we have seen lots of vacates of the women as champion in most recent memory. And now the crazy thing about this whole situation is, if you think about it closely, of all the promotions of the Women's World Championship or Tag Team Championship, I have not heard in a long time, not saying it never happened, but in the past year or so, we haven't heard anything about the AEW Women's World Championship or the AEW TBS Championship being vacated due to injury. So They have been doing very well with the injuries. I know the whole history about, I believe Thunder Rosa back about 4 or 5 years ago when she had to vacate the championship while champion. But that's not in the past year. But hopefully these women get better on their feet like Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill did. Hopefully we see Ash and Liv Morgan in the ring again. That's all I have for women who have vacated championship while injured, women who were injured as champion or unable to compete as champion. You guys let me know what you think of the most recent scenarios. Check out the content here, Pink Square Circle. Until then, guys, I will see you guys later.